Okay.
Maybe I should stop flexing now.
We are finally here in July, and we are finally jacked. Mark's finally jacked, at least. Still flexing at the camera.
I don't know about jacked.
Analytics are showing that Mark needs to take his shirt off. And I'm going to take my pants off. Show the cakes while we record.
I'm one of the late Avengers watchers.
Oh, God. You wait till the bonus footage comes out. You're a hardcore fan. You wait. You're like, I'll just wait until his actual, the edited footage is in.
I'm actually very thankful that they re-released it because I was able to watch it. Because I missed it.
Like, I'll just watch it on Netflix.
Well, we couldn't find a baby. We couldn't find a babysitter, but having a baby, it's hard to go to the movies, So
Did you take the baby to the movies?
No.
Oh, so that was like a 4-hour movie.
That would ruin my experience. I wanted to watch a movie so bad. But then the whole reason I'm bringing it up is the Thor, dude.
Fat Thor.
Everyone's
Thor
okay
with
now.
Spoilers now.
Yeah.
He had the power.
I already, to be honest, everyone's seen the memes of Thor, so it's like even before I watch a movie, that part of it was.
But you had to see why it made sense.
But it was good. Like, damn, this is what I feel like. I feel like
I'm gonna be Fat Thor for Halloween.
Melted ice cream.
I'm just gonna lift up the actual belly. I gotta get a blonde wig though. Can't grow it out. But, did you like it?
It was good. I liked all of them. No. And a lot of people asked on the lift, like, were you gonna cry or did you cry or something?
Oh, after the
deadlift attempt, because so many thoughts went through my head already, and that was one of them. I was like, it's gonna be, if I make it or miss, is it gonna be that emotional?
I know.
I did not cry, and if I did, it wouldn't have been shocking either. There was so much kind of riding on it, and so much build up, and so much pressure that if I would have broke down, it kind of would have made sense too.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Rock, I'm gonna cry right now.
Yeah, wait a second.
Maybe now's the time in reflection.
Delay. All the adrenaline's gone.
No, I messaged you today. I was like, let's record the day after it. Let's record it today. It's fresh. We're both fried right now.
Yeah.
I worked today. You worked out this morning. And it's like, it's fresh, though. We should just go. This is our raw feedback of what really happened yesterday.
Yeah, definitely all day and all last night. Even Andrea was talking about it. This is like true CNS fatigue. And I talk about when I coach athletes for deadlifting, powerlifting, and whatever.
Yeah.
I always talk about there is a point if you go for a true max, especially on a deadlift where there's that fight and struggle where your whole body's under a weight you've never done before.
Yeah.
That 5-second fight. They say it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for your CNS to kind of recover from that.
Yeah.
And this is like day after, so we're definitely.
Yeah, I feel
a little slow. Thoughts, words don't work, and that's what's been going on the last 2 days in my house. Is like, what do you food?
I know. I worked this morning and
rough.
I saw patients this morning, and I was like, why didn't I take the day after 4th of July off?
That's why I messaged you. I'm like, you're working? What
yeah.
the hell is wrong with you?
I'm glad I did, because it actually kept my mind busy. But as soon as I was done, and I was like, oh, we're gonna start podcasting now. I'm like,
I'm glad I worked out this morning because I had all the excuses not to.
Yeah, you did.
But I needed to flush it out. And
what'd you guys do?
We did some bike and handstand walk warm up, and then we did some.
You did bike.
Mm-hmm. And then
that should help.
Then we did some like push-ups / sandbag squats, Tabata, and then we pushed some sleds at the end. So it's actually a really good workout for post, just to kind of move.
You said you're letting the CNS relax and you do the bike the next day.
No, it's not that it's letting it relax. I'm just expecting it to be messed up.
Shocked.
Yeah. And then people use that CNS thing all the time where it's like, it takes a lot for you to fry your CNS.
Yeah.
So it's not like you just, you're going to fry it by doing like whatever, a workout or something.
I get it though.
You'll be like, you have to have like a huge strain on your body, You'll
just have like a busy week of work and like 4 good lifting days in a row. And then it's Friday night and you're like, oh, my CNS is fried. But it's like, no, you're just mentally fatigued probably.
You just be tired, stressed, overworked, the whole deal.
Going for PRs, completely different. Which is what we did.
It was such a huge fight for that big deadlift, which we'll talk about. And then, but like today, if you put on any amount of weight on the bar, deadlifting or whatever, 135, I feel nothing.
Yeah.
Like I'm numb.
DJ was saying his thumbs feel raw.
So my thumb, glad you brought that up. Like I was expecting my thumb to like potentially rip off or dislocate or whatever. Because
dreams of it just ripping off the.
Well, I made a public statement here on the podcast and in the gym and just thrown out there for accountability. But I was like, no switch grip, no straps, no belt. That was my goal.
Yeah.
Just kind of some proof, like where I can build strong enough foundation for it.
No shoes.
No shoes. Nothing.
No pants. No shirt.
Should have lifted naked.
Yeah, with the whole gym watching. Sumo Tuesday is just dangling down there.
But depends on what the angle. You could put the peach emoji in the back to cover it up, or the eggplant in the front. But my thumbs hurt like hell because they've never held that much weight.
Yeah.
Ever. So who knows, right? You're going to like no man's land. So going from my lifetime of 455 to 500, like my body has never experienced that.
Yeah, man, it was crazy.
So who knows what would have happened, but my thumbs they're kind of purple and they're kind of sore, but it's not as bad as it thought.
It was awesome to watch. It was weird. It was just the whole thing was weird because we showed up it was 4th of July. We show up and everybody's in a good mood, and then we started off with snatching.
Well, the event, right? I'll talk the event real quick.
Yeah.
The event was, we call it Bar Stars and Stripes. We always lift on the 4th of July, and it's snatch, clean and jerk, back squat, strict press or bench press, and then deadlift. So you're kind of looking for a max, and then you can choose what lifts you want to do, or you don't.
You talk to some people that are like, I'm doing all 5. People are doing 2. The Olympic lifts and done.
I think Farber just did 1.
Some people are like just bench instead of strict press. Some people did.
But that was the event we did yesterday, so people don't know.
Right. So that was the event. Mark made a goal, 500-pound deadlift, which is at the end, which is awesome because it was like main event.
I struggled with that a lot because it was like people were saying like, well, are you just gonna go in and deadlift first? And in my head, I'm kind of like, that'd be ideal because I don't have to idle and wait around while everyone's snatching and just. We
warmed up good, and then snatch, clean and jerk for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
I was like, shit.
And even back squat bench or back squat press, like for a while I didn't even know until the day of, like, what was I
didn't either
supposed to do that.
Yeah,
but it was just I wish it would have been first, but then I kind of threw it out of the window. All those, like, it's very easy for me to get in my head, but I was like, this isn't about me. There was a lot of pressure, but I still jumped into the back squat, the press, and I didn't like deadlift first while everyone's snatching because it would have taken away from the experience. Like, no, I didn't want to be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna deadlift, guys.
I love the way that it's set up because with snatch and clean and jerk, it was so hard for people to PR for something like that because those are so technical lifts. They're exciting lifts too, but it's almost like maybe if we were like, let's do a snatch and clean and jerk PR, we would flip that around, right?
Yeah.
But we're like, deadlift party at the end, man. That was like, it was the main slowly hyped up. It's like snatching, I was like, it's kind of quiet right now. Clean and jerk, I'm like, us FixFitters, quote unquote, like, we're on the back. It's funny, I was sitting there with a couple guys going like, should we start doing rope pulls or like kettlebell walks? Like, we didn't know. And then all of a sudden, as like clean and jerk started with 20 minutes, you walk over as the leader and just go like, grab a sled, and you name like 4 stations. You're like, grab the sled, push. We're gonna do
kettlebell
hinges right here to get the VMOs on. We're gonna do oblique hip ups, floor press, and boom, like 10 people just start warming up for reals. And I'm like, oh shit, it's getting serious now. And then like the back squat was like the perfect starter, right? Because you said we're going to go into it doing like a piston style, like just going to warm up my legs, right? And I said, I'm just going to fucking front squat because I haven't been training the back squat at all. And I was like, I was talking to Bob like about it, like in between. I was like, he's like, you sound like you're in between a high bar and a low bar back squat. You're like confused. I'm like, yeah, totally. But I know what a front squat is and I do it well. So I was like, I'm just going to do that just to warm up my legs. And I fucking accidentally PR it.
It's like your primer of getting ready for the deadlift. That's the cool thing about the event. There was flexibility where you can do whatever you want. That was
so nice about it. I was like, I didn't have to do anything. I was just like, I'm just going to front squat for warming up the VMOs and the glutes. And then all of a sudden I'm like, be on the whiteboard and it's like, you PR'd. I'm like, okay, dope. I didn't mean to do that. I just was trying to warm up my legs and it felt good. and I still partook.
I didn't. Yeah, that's the thing, is I want to be part of it, right? Still do the other lifts. I didn't do the clean and jerk or snatch. It's just because, like you said, it's a technical lift. It's a skill. Like, it has to be practiced constantly. And if I wanted to even try to snatch or clean and jerk to my potential, like, I would have to do it probably 2-3 times a week to give myself a chance to even PR. There's times where I've done a bunch of weightlifting cycles and, 12-week cycles, and I didn't PR, even though I was snatching clean and jerk every day. It's very hard. I think for people to grasp that concept that this is a very technical skill.
Yeah.
It's not that, like, I've seen people, and I've talked to, like, about Harry, he come in, he doesn't even really train powerlifting, he'll just pick up, he could deadlift a ton of weight.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's a skill, you have to practice it. It's really hard to just come in on any given day and hope to hit a snatch or a clean and jerk PR because it's so technical.
But what's just crazy to me is that you on the back squat too are like thinking the same thing. I'll just do some piston, like just parallel back squats. All of a sudden you have like 400 pounds on the bar and you're like, what the fuck? This is easy. I didn't intend to so I set a record on the strict press and back squat, I guess, I hit parallel or whatever, but I had 360 maybe as my back squat lifetime PR. So that's as much weight as I've ever had on my back. And since I was lifting with DJ and it just felt good and I'm using it as a warm-up, I went up to 405, and then that wasn't even, like, I stopped there because I was, like, shocked. I had 400 pounds on my back, and I moved that pretty quickly. I'm definitely going to post that today. I just think that's interesting.
I moved that like it was 225, and it blew. I've never had, that's 40 more pounds than I've ever had on my back, and I haven't been training specifically for the back squat.
That's the thing, is just doing the FixFit stuff, the jack, getting your VMO, glute max, keeping your obliques on. We knew to keep those core muscles on for powerlifting, and front squat and back squat accidental PRs happen, but it's more of like those just happened and we just kept going. We're like, all right, on the strict press now. The mind was always in back deadlift, obviously for you, for sure, going for a 500. You were thinking deadlift the whole time.
Yeah.
But that's how much it's applying to other lifts.
But that's a good point. It applies to like the power lifts.
Right.
Or strongman things where it's not as technical.
Right.
Like I did a workout in DJ's garage over the weekend, and it was like doing a squat clean at 135 felt like I was lifting the world, even though I've gotten so much stronger on the deadlift.
Right.
It doesn't transfer to those type of lifts.
No.
Because you have to practice that.
Yeah, last week there was 2 cleans and then a squat clean in the workout too, and I was like 155, and I was like, I'm dying.
I don't want people to think that you can do like FixFit type of accessory drills and not apply the practice and the skill to get better at it. So let's say you get your obliques to turn on, and your obliques are super strong, your lats are strong, your glutes are on. That doesn't mean you're going to be a better golfer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the same thing with Olympic lifts. It's like you can't expect to just do FixFit drills and then why am I not PRing my snatch or clean and jerk?
Right.
It's way different.
And this people...
But power lifts are easy because it's like those are functional patterns, supposedly. Squatting pattern, hinging pattern. A pressing pattern, So it's like, you're kind of working, those drills are really working the movements in the same way. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Because I can see that. People are like, man, I did so much mid-trap drill, I did so much sandbag squats, and then it's like, my snatch at NPR. I'm like, how much time did you practice the snatch?
Yeah.
And you might be structurally, like, okay, maybe then all that the FixFit drills gave you is that your shoulders didn't hurt now. Yeah. You might not have PR'd, but your neck wasn't tweaked.
And that's still a win, and that's something we went over in that episode with DJ, was I said, now we did FixFit jacked by July, all that for intentions of following you for that journey for the 500-pound dead. Mm-hmm. Maybe we do something now with the Olympic lifting, but we'll get into that later after hitting PRs on deads. It's like, we got to take a little break now.
Well, this is kind of off season for me. There's so much stress of like just having to focus on one specific goal. It took away kind of the fun of like the flexibility of jumping into workout with whoever on any given day, and jumping into workout at any class without it being like, well, if I did a bunch of muscle up and tweak my whatever, the risk.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to throw away, I didn't do jiu-jitsu the last month and a half because of that too. It's like, I don't want to just have an accident and then, oh shit, I can't deadlift,
Yeah, I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. You more than me with the 500-pound one, but I still felt a nervousness like all morning, the night before, of like, what if I just hurt myself? And I'm on a podcast talking right now about like how to move your body with better intention. It's like, well, I go for a PR, but I tweak my back. It's like, that would suck. And what's kind of eye-opening for me is, here's something I preach all the time, is recovery, right? And treatment. And I think I haven't really shared this with you yet, but how I, about a week ago, went, okay, competition time's coming. Should I go into this competition, call it a competition, but it's just the throwdown, I guess. The event. Should I go into an event trying to hit PRs with a stiff lower back and sore shoulders? That's how I normally train, right? So maybe I should go in how I normally feel. We went 2 different paths to this. I went and got a massage, I got acupuncture, and I got adjusted. Because I was like, I haven't treated myself in like 8 months.
Yeah.
Maybe longer. I'm probably giving myself too much credit. I'm just doing FixFit, and it's like, I always preach to people like, hey, if we're trying to get your glute to pump,
yeah, but
you never lay on a lacrosse ball and get the lactic acid out of there, get all the tension out of the glute, then the glute's never going to fire as optimally as we want, right? So that's why you see your chiro to do some ART on it. That's why you see your massage therapist to dig out all the lactic acid. I did all that a week before, and I was so sore because I waited too long, maybe. So I was like, I think it's an eye-opening thing for me. I think for sure I need to be more consistent with it. But I did I just didn't think. I just was like, oh, I'd be fine. Like, I'll just do a quick recovery session. And then I told all my practitioners too, like, I have an event on Thursday. I don't want to get deep tissue. I don't want to get abused here. And I'm like, here, look, I'm like bruised. I'm like sore in my low back after. And I'm like, what the heck?
That wasn't even the deep tissue type of treatment. You were just that tight.
I was just that bad.
Yeah.
So and then all 3 of my providers told me too, like, you waited way too long. And I tell my patients that all the time too. They come in and it's been a year and they're like, I'm tweaked, I'm effed up, but just fix me real quick, But I was like, I wasn't looking for a fix. I was looking for like a quick tune-up.
Yeah,
and it opened up a can of worms.
Yeah, you're like, oh shoot.
I was like, oh god, it's my left SI joint is still kind of tight. But
that the training on a daily, that's like, we're talking like the average Joe, right? You do some sort of fitness program. We're not talking like pro powerlifters or whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard enough. At least you had the mindset to do something to prep for the comp, whereas most people probably just showed up.
My lower back was stiff and achy, and I was like, maybe if I just did a quick tune-up of my low back and my shoulders. After I did acupuncture first, and I walked out going like, first of all, I feel complete relaxation of my stress levels, which just dropped immediately. I slept better. So I was like, I gotta do that way more, just for that side of it, mental. Physically, I was like, I can't believe how loose my shoulders are, because she hit teres. She's needling my teres, just like jumping. And I'm like, oh god, Brittany, shout out Brittany, after our second favorite guest we've ever had.
I don't say favorites at all.
I think she's our second favorite guest.
That's on you, buddy.
Needles my teres, it's jumping. Needle my traps are jumping, and I'm like, right after it was done, I was like, I feel like I have no arms. It felt so good. But my low back was still kind of stiff, so then I get a massage, and Melissa was like, your low back's really bad. I'm like, I know, it's really tight on that left side. Get adjusted. It's just all felt just kind of like a general ache. But I'm like, I'm glad I did it for experimental reasons, because you did no treatment or rolling out or anything like that. And I'm always like, I gotta do RDLs, I gotta do hip airplanes, I gotta do rolling out with a lacrosse ball, Epsom salt baths, saunas. Like, I do all that kind of stuff to kind of keep myself limber or whatever I try to do, But it could be a more mental thing for me. I feel like I don't want to limp into.
Is that like your wrestling pass? Every athlete has their routine, and it builds comfort for the event.
I sat in a sauna, and I didn't even realize it. Like, I sat in the sauna on Wednesday night, and I was like, I feel the most calm right now about it, because it was like 15 minutes in there, and I was like, maybe that's the wrestling side. I used to go in the saunas before tournaments all the time.
And, you know, you were talking about going into it, like, no one ever goes into anything
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
So
I wanted that. Maybe
we were ready. I
that.
mean, you know, like you said, it would suck for, you know, you Cairo and FixFitness guys, you know, to hurt yourself in a deadlift or back squat or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the price you pay. It's a risk you take. You know, every time I go just do a nice little free, like a rolling session, even though it's not a competition, I'm at risk for something.
Yeah.
You go for a run, whatever. It's like we're lifting heavy weights that we've never lifted before. So I don't care how much prep you do. There's always that element of, you know, risk you're gonna take.
And there was like a
But it was stressful too, because like I had so much stress because of the fact that you know plays in a part where I'm like, okay, if I don't get it, then it's like kind
the event's ruined.
I ruined everyone's mood, and the 4th of July is ruined. And then, but if I also, not only if I didn't get it, but if I got hurt, it, you know, we can justify like, hey, you know, things happen and people do get hurt.
It's just
but it's like, it's scary, right? It's like,
it's crazy how much of a competition vibe it felt like. But there's zero competition. You didn't get a fucking medal.
It's more stressful than a competition because you win and lose in a comp and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But this has like a validity of like the proof, right? The program. Like we're putting it out there and we're trying to tell people that we're doing this and hoping that it works.
Remember Robin asked us that in her episode. Why do you want it? You're like, proof. And proof that it works. I set goals and I can hit them with diet and
it was
exercise.
A commitment thing because like the prep is, you can't cram fitness. You can't cram FixFit.
Right.
Just like you have to prep. Like if you want to do well in an event, I don't think people have that mindset where you have to work towards it. I mean, I committed, I think I'll look back, but 2.5 months, 2 months.
I think more than that. We've been talking about it for a while. No, you just said 500-pound deadlift a long time ago.
But like the program itself, like I committed.
But saying
every
like
day.
I'm gonna do it on 4th of July was probably like a month and a half ago.
I didn't. Yeah, the goal wasn't to.
Because I remember us talking and me asking like, is that going to be the date? And you're like, oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it might have been longer, so maybe 3 months.
It was a while ago that you talked about it, but there's never an end date.
It's. For me, I felt like there's so much, like what Robin said. At first I said proof, right? But then it was the commitment to training like an athlete or training for that event, you know? So it wasn't, to me, it was a huge competition because it was like a personal journey. It's like I'm trying to climb my own Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And that's more stressful because it means so much more to me. It's not about beating, like a competition you're trying to win or whatever.
Yeah.
But this one was like a huge mindfuck where it's like so much was riding on it. So many elements, and I've played every scenario in my head about like, oh, what if I tear a hammy, blow out a disc, strain a bicep, pass out, you know, all those fail videos.
When I always thought
bleed throw up, puke, all of the above.
And everyone's watching, man. That's what's crazy is like that's what created the competition like atmosphere. Me and Deej were sharing that bar with you. So was Brett, a good friend of ours, and me and Deej are going towards PR level deads, but like we were not mentally thinking like, oh, I'm going for my PR. You know, it's weird. I would be standing like in the corner going like the warm up for a wrestling match, right? Like thinking about the bar. All right, it's my turn. I'm after Deej. All right, Deej just went, and I walk up to the bar, and I was saying, a couple people messaged me later like, oh, nice lifts, and I was like, I don't even know people were watching me. I thought everyone was just waiting for you the whole time, but we were like center stage, right? And I was like tunnel vision every time it was my turn to lift. So I was like, fuck. But every time I was done, I'd get my lift up. I'd go, where the fuck's Mark at? What weight is going on the bar next? And I was like, is everyone else noticing? Like, because we weren't like announcing. It's not in a competition. Like, Mark's up 465 on the bar, guys. Yeah. You know, here he goes. It was just, hey, it's your turn.
It's weird. It's almost worse because it was like everyone knew that's what it all of the training and the, you know, the eating has come to this day. So everyone knows what's going on. No one's saying anything. So I can feel the vibe of like, because everyone's lifting at the same time. We have like 9 bars going or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then yet when it's my turn to go, you can just hear like a pin drop for some reason.
The 500-pound one, like sure.
It felt like everyone stopped lifting, and it wasn't the intent, right? But
I think your 465 was your second attempt, or second to last attempt, right?
No, so my jumps were, because my PR was 455, and I can't waste that many attempts because it's a lot of strain. So my first attempt after warming up, right, was my 3 lifts. I told DJ so he could help me with loading the bar.
He wrote it down.
460, 480, and then 500. Those are my 3
So your 480, I remember there are still people lifting like in the background. And like everyone that knew would like look over and watch. But the 500-pound one, I mean, we have video of it. We'll have to share. But everybody stopped and was like, we got to see this shit, you know? And I was like, oh, God. What if he doesn't get it?
Like Andrew said, you ruined the whole event. That would have been a damper on it's weird because it's you know, the whole event wasn't designed for that lift or whatever, but it was just I couldn't avoid it.
No,
I couldn't avoid the pressure that it was just built up to be.
Yeah, and then like the bar kind of came up a little bit, paused, and then like you just went like, oh, it's not moving, slacks out of the bar. Oh, it's off the ground. Is it stuck? Is he gonna get it? And then it was up.
Yeah,
and it was just like time stood still. We're all like, ah.
It was pretty awesome. It was pretty surreal because like at that point, even Andrew said she was holding her breath like, oh my gosh, it's not going up.
Yep.
You know, so it's like you hit that sticking point.
If you watch the video back though, it's like 3 seconds total. You know,
it felt like
my
life flashed before my eyes, like right before a car accident or something. And that's what it felt like. It was really surreal because a million thoughts that I've been overthinking is all just like, oh my God, it's not gonna go. Oh, is it gonna? It was crazy. I've never had that feeling with a lift.
Shout out to anybody that fucking does competition level. I
committed to do, so much of it was more nutrition prep and recovery and training the right way. But I did talk about that yesterday to everyone. It was like, man, anyone that trains as a power lifter or Olympic weightlifter, hats off, because they're doing the same lifts and they put all their eggs in one basket. Like, it's just this lift that day. And everyone can have a bad day.
We had 20 minutes to just, hey, man,
and there's no fear of missing.
Yeah, no fear of missing.
We don't have a limited amount of attempts.
Probably get 2 attempts at it if you want it. And then we're saying that for the snatching, when people are snatching clean and jerk, and we're talking in the back, like, Olympic lifters have 3 shots to go up on that platform.
That's more technical and finicky. Like, you can just...
For a max weight.
Yeah.
And they just go up. And like, there you go, you got like a minute.
It's stressful. I've done some weightlifting.
I was like, woo!
Throwdowns or whatever. 3
That
lifts.
is a crazy sport, dude.
And having people like, watch you, it's even worse.
Imagine like the Olympians with like all that, a stadium, or a theater
4
watching.
4 years of training. And I did whatever, X months. It's like so much
in front
stress.
of a gym.
Yeah.
And this is like millions of, or I mean like hundreds of strangers watching you at a theater just going like 1 rep. And it's like, that's why that sport's so, it's just wild.
It's crazy too because there's no win. You make it, kind of expected to make it, and if you don't, it's like all was lost.
Yeah. Sports psychologist to get through that, man. That's nuts.
Yeah, I was super nervous. Not nervous, but whatever. It was in my head for the last leading up to, like, I woke up a bunch of times, just amped up for the event.
Yeah.
I seriously, so many thoughts went through the head of like, oh my gosh, if I don't make it, or if I get hurt, or how to, all that stuff.
I think it's fun though. I think it keeps your competitive mindset. It keeps your athletic mindset, but it's not in that competitive spirit of like, I'm gonna go for broke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was like, I remember Deej and I.
Well, no, for me, I was gonna go till like.
For sure, but one lift.
Yeah, everyone I don't think anyone's. If you were I'm gonna go pass out or rip like my hammy just for this lift. I don't think anyone's at that.
Because I think there's other people that would go, I hit 500 pounds. Now I'm gonna become a power lifter.
Right? Oh no! Just to be clear, this has nothing to do with powerlifting because
exactly
that's like.
But if you were like, I'm gonna take up powerlifting now, it's like, whoa, man, that is hard to go for broke like that.
Yeah.
All the time, but because you get to taste it, right? Like that fight,
the lifestyle too, and the.
I mean, like I said, literally like a taste. It's 1 lift. Imagine that for back squat and you're bleeding out of your nose. Imagine that for like bench and you're ripping your shoulder off the bone. You gotta have a different kind of mindset. But it was kind of nice to experience it. I have never done that with a barbell before, but I remember going like, oh, 405 went up, but it took a little bit of a fight because we were using metal plates.
Yeah.
And I was like, those metal plates were heavier than... Is that true?
I feel like it's a funny conversation because obviously it weighs the same, but I feel like when I did the powerlifting comp in AAU, like it was all metal plates. Those red ones is 55s or whatever.
Is that mental or what?
It feels lighter.
Really? All metal?
But it's the day, like the only time I lift with them, it's during comps, right? So your adrenaline's up. Everything.
That's hard, man. I feel like those bumpers are just distributed differently.
I'll tell you what though, because I just remembered right after the lift, because there was a pretty good fight in there.
Yeah.
If there wasn't so much writing on it, if there wasn't the whole community support, like no one was saying anything, but I can tell that like people were invested.
Yeah.
Of like they wanted me to succeed.
Yeah.
If there's all these like so much pressure and then so much energy within the gym, if it wasn't that setup, that situation, I would have missed it. Yeah. Because that fight was so big of a fight that it took seriously every single thing out of me to get it. It had to go up. Yeah. And it hit a stopping point, and with everyone cheering and just like that life flash before my eyes thing with all the adrenaline. Yeah, I don't think like it had to be a perfect storm for me to make that lift.
Yeah. Because I think.
Because again, I'm still. I mean, I weighed in that morning at 185. I know there's people out there that are powerlifters. They lift like 600-700 pounds or whatever. But for me, average CrossFitter dude, like 185 for 500. It had to be again perfect storm, and
it's a huge feat. But I don't think anybody is ever like giving you it or taking it away based off of that. They're just they enjoyed the journey of it.
Yeah, that's the thing is what I learned from that. That's the most important part because this was a proof and a test, especially FixFit / programming, how to get stronger. We're always evolving. That's what DJ talks about. He kind of hates it, but we're changing things up because of what I've learned from this. And what I learned from this because, one, I learned how to get bigger naturally. And so to sum it up, I didn't take any protein shakes. I mean, I used to, like supplements, creatine, all that shit. It was just food. And I really cut out a lot of like fats, like nuts and stuff, you know. I just wanted carbs and protein mainly. And so I ate a bunch of rice eggs, rice meats or whatever. Yeah. And I just did a lot of it and was committed and diligent, like almost force feeding myself like a bodybuilder because I'm building up to it.
But we did some bodybuilding workouts, which are feeling freaking great.
And so like that was one of the proof. And then two, the training was mind-blowing because not only was I trying to get a deadlift PR, but I got like a back squat PR, strict press. I PR'd my bench 20 pounds like a week ago. Yeah.
Got to take your shirt off at the pool after. All wins, dude.
But dude, I look way better in clothes now because my shirt wise, because I have big legs, but my upper body's always like small. But all my shirts look like they've been washed with hot water.
You and Monty, man, shout out Monty. I know he listens.
I did lose all my abs, but that was the sacrifice I had to.
They're overrated, dude.
They are. I've
so overrated.
I've related abs to like a Ferrari. It's like the upkeep's insane.
Always use that one line where the girls are like, "You can't cuddle with abs." You know, so that's what I try to say.
It's like everyone's like, "What's next?" or whatever, and you brought that up. Andrea wants me to go to 200 pounds. Boom. Like my walking weight's like Chubby high chaser. 160s. Like that's my genetic makeup. Like that's it. Yeah. I should be at 160s, and now I'm at 185. You hear me? I just took a deep breath talking. Holy shit,
dude! You're not even sweating like I am. So just stop, okay?
And then she wants me to go to 200. Holy crap!
Do it, dude. She's telling you like get fat.
So
get thick.
That's one of the things I learned is how to eat and train and commit. Like what Robin's saying, the big thing is commit to a program to get me to a specific goal. Because I think DJ and I both mentioned like most CrossFitters don't eat enough. Yeah. Period. Because we get into this healthy mindset and we have this extremes of like, oh, this isn't healthy because I'm eating rice like 3-4 times a day. You know, so the nutrition was one. The other one was what you mentioned is we did a lot of bodybuilding-ish stuff, which is the FixFit Jacked. But we just added our spin of FixFit to it. Like, we're not just doing a bicep curl. We're doing the curl with the pec on and the oblique, or we're doing the curl
for me, doing lat. That was like, how am I going to translate that to a strict press? How am I going to translate my lat pull down to like I was doing lat pull downs at a gym, going like, how is this going to help me
strict press your 185?
Strict press, or like when I let the lat bar go back up and I could feel my upper abs turning on when I'm doing that. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like that's gonna help me for my dead, so it's like those kinds of things.
Accessory drills have been around forever, right? So accessory drills isn't something like we, try to create or coin, but it's how we were doing the accessory drills for our goal was the big change, because we're now doing, it's not like we've never done a bicep curl before, but doing all these accessory drills, these pistons and curls and bench or whatever presses, it led us to have a more solid foundation.
Yeah.
And it got us strong. It allowed me to put on weight faster because I'm using more muscles, but it definitely built such a strong foundation that it allowed me to PR like all of my strength lifts leading up to it.
Yeah, I think just the day after, it's crazy that we're like, I know you're reflecting really well, but me, I'm already, after yesterday, already, the day up, I was like, what next?
Yeah.
Like, I know I PR'd 3 lifts, but you can't just, that means the bar is lower, too, for myself, right? It's like, I can't PR 3 lifts every single time I do something like this.
Unless you commit to it, which is a lot of sacrifice, but...
Accidentally,
no...
But now if I have that in my head, look, I have PR 3 times. So, like, let's say you guys do something similar in 6 months. I can't go, like, I better PR 3 out of 5 lifts, because that's how I do it. And it's like, no, it's like...
It's also different because of the timeline of training, right? Like,
yeah.
I've done a bunch of comps and weightlifting comps and powerlifting comps and lifted. So I'd kind of like know my genetic or whatever, my potential is already set.
Okay.
But like,
I guess that
you've been doing CrossFit, what you said, like a couple years, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you're talking a year and a half about, really getting in FixFit and all that. So it's like you might still be able to hit your PRs. It depends on where you're at.
Because it's like, it's linear, but it's got to eventually plateau somewhere.
It's the honeymoon phase, right?
Like, yeah, and I'm trying not to, I want to like be like, hey, nice work, but I also don't want to be like, okay, well, in 6 months, it's going to be 455 dead and 195 press.
Which is a big amateur mistake. It's like, you get addicted to CrossFit, powerlifting, weightlifting, because you can do any type of program, and then you're going to PR, because you did something before you did nothing. But someone like a DJ... who's already he's already pushing his limits and has to do all these extra things to hit like
5-pound PRs.
Exactly.
Versus
so
mine.
That's where
I mean, if I accidentally PR my front squat, that means I didn't even know what my number was starting it. That's not going to happen anymore going forward, right? Now there's the threshold, it's 275. So it's like, I don't want to beat myself up too bad about it, but that's just kind of how my brain works. I'm already like, all right, what next?
Yeah.
What's my next goal? What's my next thing? That's what I think doing a podcast like this is what I want to do the next day while it's fresh, is that what's next after a 500-pound dead, man? Like, what's left for me? For me, I like reflecting on what got us to yesterday, because like we were talking earlier, it's that following the FixFit principles of like, 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes 6 days a week of like clean eating and hitting the right accessory movements for yourself, but how you felt during that process, right? Like adding more bodybuilding style working out with some cardio CrossFit style metcons mixed in there, with powerlifting mixed in there every now and then, right? That felt the best on your body. So it's like, I think I'm just going to keep doing that and then see what happens.
Well, the CrossFit Sun, my gym, we've been doing that. We've been integrating that since really like the beginning of the year, because we wanted to take away FixFit classes and integrate it. So if you look at it from like a kind of, you do broad general things like what we're doing, it's like obviously we have our main lifts, like we do snatches and then power lifts, back squat, deadlift within there. Right. And we always have our Metcon, that's what people call it, or your conditioning, your WOD, your workout of the day.
Yeah.
That's more CrossFit stuff, right? Yeah. And then we have finishers that we've implemented since Jack by July, which is all FixFit stuff. And even like a year ago, we have all of our warm-ups we talked about are all FixFit drills. Yeah. We're doing hinges, suitcase carry, hip ups, oblique openers. So like the 3 main things that people should think about training, or like Mark Bell kind of simplified it, and he talked about it recently about his training style right now, is he does central nervous system training, which is like a heavy lift. So he'll do like a back squat or bench that day.
He does all power lift,
right? So, but he labels it as like that CNS training, which is true, because if you do 3 reps or something. It's not like you're working the other energy systems or whatever.
Yeah.
So then he goes into bodybuilding, because now he's working. First, he's working nerve system. Second, he's working now muscles, building them, growing them. Right. So it makes sense. So he does bodybuilding, getting the pump, which is what we are really doing. Our finisher, FixFit Jack. And then he's doing CrossFit style workouts, he says. So this is his conditioning. So he'll probably go push some sleds. I don't know what kind of metcons he's doing. But to me, I think that's a
lot
huge...
of burpees, but sleds, yoke walks.
That's a huge benefit to balance your program.
Totally. That's
the take-home message. It's what we're doing for our gym, because it works so well for me.
I love it.
People, I did get way bigger because I had to, because I know my whatever. I know how heavy I can lift in my frame, my body training at 160s, low 170s. I know I had to get to 185. That's the goal of gaining weight, Yeah. But then, the idea of doing these three kind of training styles together is you don't lose out on one of the main things. So even though I was getting bigger, I didn't lose out on the conditioning, because I still made sure I got my conditioning through sleds. And
yeah, you did a CrossFit workout over the weekend.
People don't call it, they think I go outside and it's like strongman, right? Or whatever, FixFit.
Yeah. Harness
crawling and pushing the sled in intervals, I'm breathing harder than I can in a regular, it's just a label. You see what I'm saying? So I think, especially for CrossFitters, because that's kind of where I specialize in or whatever, but I think what CrossFitters are missing in terms of their general training is the bodybuilding element of it. There's none of that. And we talked about it with DJ's podcast. It's if you don't work on building the muscles you don't have, then you're never going to get stronger. And that's why the strict press or the bench press rarely goes up for anybody.
Yeah. But what did we see a lot of PRs in yesterday?
Yeah, there was a ton. And
get bench press.
Bench press was huge. Strict
press. A lot of PRs in bench press. A lot of PRs in strict press. Jana, shout out. She listens every week too. Strict press, no shoulder pain.
And she had a PR. And I think it was the highest press in the whole gym.
Yeah. Which is awesome. And she's like, but also my lower back is still a little tight. I'm like, I told her, Mark and I's lower back is very tight too. PRs come with a freaking consequence sometimes,
Yeah, that's that thing where it's yesterday night after the deadlift, I felt my back was so tight, and just I told you, my erectors, my core, my back, my muscles never felt that much load.
Yeah.
There's a risk. I was telling DJ this morning, it was you know how in Infinity War is not the most recent one, Avengers, Thanos snaps his finger.
Yeah.
It's he did one thing, but the glove's all burnt and his whole body's fucked up. That's that's what I felt. I did one lift,
yeah,
but I'm fucked up. There was a price to pay,
Yeah.
At what cost? At what cost?
Yeah. How do you feel about this now?
So my back is still tight today. Good thing I got in a workout. It's not you do all this and you come out unscathed, but
yeah,
I'm not crippled, or I don't have any significant injuries.
Yeah, I'm going to work out after this too. Not even with an intent of I gotta get a pump of this or pump. I'm just I gotta move.
Yeah.
I tried stretching this morning, mobilizing a little bit. It's nothing's budging, man. You gotta go reset the system a little bit.
That's the FixFit kind of mindset, or the thing we're trying to promote is going back to Jana. It's amazing she hit a PR, because that's a big press, right? Strict press. And then she going back to when she did how many years, I don't even know if it was a year, but she started the FixFit journey because her shoulder was hurting.
Yeah.
Couldn't even do anything shoulder related.
She had a shoulder impingement.
Yeah, couldn't even raise her arm. So if she PR'd or not, the success of it was she's still able to do what she loves to do, which is lift weights, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, from a performance side, she hit a PR. That's amazing.
Yeah, the performance stuff is all coming secondary, which is crazy. Most people people following our program right now, or it's tough to call it a program, because it was a 1.5, 2-year journey for her. That wasn't she didn't sign up for some I did block A and then block B, and then now it gave me PR. It's she just bought into it and slowly did it, and she's but my back's still tight. It's yeah, Mark and I are preaching this shit all the time, and our backs are really tight today.
Yeah,
it's part of the sport that we just picked to partake in this week. It's kind of if you went, played basketball and your ankles and shins are sore the next day. It's if you haven't done it in a while, all out max effort, you're
you're gonna be tired. Something's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
You have to kind of track your FixFit baselines, because I guarantee you, you went back in time and then talked to Jana when she couldn't even move her arm.
Yeah. Like, which one was that?
She was not thinking about pressing 105. She was just wanting it to not hurt.
Yeah.
Like, look how far you've come, and we're just using her as an example now, but it's the same with everyone.
Oh,
because
totally.
people will come like, oh my gosh, this hurts. It was like, well, your back was like in crippling pain just 6 months ago. Yep. Now it's like you do a clean and your knee kind of bugs you. It's like not a big deal.
I think it's crazy. I couldn't even, imagine doing a conventional deadlift probably like 2 years ago at any kind of weight. I was like messing around. Should I do? Constantly bouncing off ideas with you and other people. Like, should I conventional? Should I sumo? I just for sure no belt, and had to slowly work towards no straps, work a hook grip in, like all this other stuff that was just like fine tuning it. But it was like to stay conventional, no belt,
no straps,
no switch grip. Definitely not. I don't even know what it feels like to use that, because that's where I started lifting, was with you guys, and it was like always like that. And like you should mention what you were saying earlier about the no belt thing. Like,
I was watching Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw. I follow them on YouTube, and they work out together. They're funny videos, but they both said they don't use the belt throughout the year, and they use it for like the last month to get accustomed to it.
Yeah.
And then it's like you're cheating.
You don't want to compete with something that you're not comfortable with ever lifting in.
It's because then you're not really working the weaknesses, right? If you use the belt all season or all year round, then you might be using it to mask your weak core, your obliques, your erectors, whatever it might be.
Same thing. You have to do some lifts in your singlet if you're going to be a powerlifting competitor, because it's like,
I get used to it.
You can't just be in a singlet on date, like in front of people on a platform for the first time. You got to hit some reps on that on your own in the gym.
Get comfy with your.
Just get comfy with your eggplant. No, it's honestly how your body's going to feel. I always think about that for wrestling too. That I thought we were possibly at a disadvantage for always practicing in shorts and a shirt. And then game day was always a singlet. And I always thought to myself, like, why the hell don't we practice in singlets? In the old days, they would. And I think it just got like into like this like PC era of like, yeah, you just don't want to be like, kids are self-conscious and don't want to be in a singlet in practice all day.
I didn't know. That's weird. You should practice the way you're competing. Totally. Not all the time, but you need to ramp up for it.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time coaching people at the gym for this event, saying like, this is how you set up, this is how you breathe. We spend many sessions teaching them how to just get tension on the bar before lifting. It's like that takes practice. Your setup takes practice.
Yeah.
Your setup routine takes practice. And it's like, even for my 3 deadlifts, like I approached the same path.
Yeah.
I chalked my hands the same way.
Yeah.
Put all the chalk on my left hand, like painting it with the block, and then I rubbed it. Then
There's
I walked,
something
and
to that.
Turn.
Yep.
And I yell. It's like it's just because
there's a mental side for that for sure to be in routine, but there's also a physical side of, well, if I have to stand on a platform in a singlet and deadlift versus how you did it yesterday in shorts and you take your time and everybody's quiet for you. It's like those are two different things completely, and you got to practice both.
Yeah, depends on what you're training for.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I have no shoes, right? I wasn't gonna change on game day.
Yeah, game day you can't be like, I'm gonna wear wrestling shoes today.
I did take that because I was like, you know what? It's 500 pounds, and like everyone wears belts. There's nothing to prove to myself or FixFit or whatever. So I was planning on wearing a belt. So I trained for the last month using a belt, and then I was like, the day before, and then maybe even morning of, I decided not to use it because I was like, you know what? I think if I'm going that heavy and I've trained the right way, that belt is not going to do that much for me. So still the proof was there for me to be like, my obliques, my core, my hand, whatever, everything should be strong enough. I did my due diligence. I've done the 500-pound farmer's carry, which was a prerequisite of mine to hit before the comp, because then I know I'm structurally strong enough. So I'm holding on to all these things that I did for training to make sure I'm mentally like confident that I think I could do this lift. That belt was just maybe gave me a false sense of security, and that wasn't the goal of this. I didn't want anything to be like, I don't want to like wrap my knees and do this and belt, and like I just wanted to stay as true to what I was training for.
I think it's tough because I think as FixFit, FixFitness guys, we do preach that you shouldn't need a belt, you should use your obliques, this and that. Like we put ourselves at risk to go, look at it, we can do it with 500 pounds.
Well, I'm always extreme, and again, it wasn't a knock on like if you use belts and use wrist grips, it doesn't matter what you do, but it's the intent, right?
And that's what I'm trying to make.
It's like, what are you doing it for?
I'm trying to parallel that with the PRs. Like, it's not like you FixFit, you PR. You know, like, because it does seem like that, and it does feel like that when we talk about it, but it's like, we're just happy with the results, that there's proof in the pudding.
It's not that you FixFit and you PR, it's like, for me, I felt like I got to where I planned to really hit a 500-pound deadlift at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So that was like, 9 months of whatever. It's a long
honestly
time.
Thought this, I think you said it once, like, this is the first attempt.
We were, yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's a check-in.
Yeah, you were like, oh, I think I'll try it on the 4th. You didn't say, like, I'm doing it on the 4th of July.
I didn't commit to do it on the 4th of July until, like, 3 weeks ago or something, because, like, everyone kept asking. Everyone kept telling me, like, oh, that's a day, right? That's a day. And I was at a wedding, and again, Jana, she asked me, is this the day to go for it? And I was kind of like, yeah, you know what? I'm this close in a sense because I didn't expect for my results to come this quick because of this FixFit style of training. Because I've done weightlifting programs, I've done hard gainer programs, and I've never got the results I got like until this time around. So I just decided to say, fuck it, pedal to the metal, I'm going to keep pushing it. And then go as hard as I can on 4th of July. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm so close.
Yeah.
Might as well take a shot. So then I fully committed.
It's just funny that
I ate even more because, like, Brian Shaw talks about, like, he starts eating maybe 10,000 calories, but as the event goes, he slowly ramps up. So I was on the same boat where I'm, like, eating more. I'm just getting my body fully prepped for this one lift. And if something were to happen...
Yeah, it started off with, like, yeah, I'll attempt it then. And then
exactly.
All of a sudden
I wasn't committed until recently.
Yeah, and then the mental side starts coming. But
until I said, fuck it. I was like, this is it. This is the day.
It's crazy.
Because I was kind of dogging it and trying to be politically correct. Or save my ass, right? Like, no, it's just a check-in, and if I miss it, no big deal.
But that's how it wouldn't have happened,
Yeah, so
the fight would have been different.
Exactly. So, again, that perfect storm of the mindset really helped to get there.
Yeah. I want to know what next already. I'm just that kind of itchy person, and I wasn't going for a specific number like you. I just loved that I was here finally for a 4th. 2 years in a row I've been out of town. It was fun.
I'm excited for the whole gym because, they've been doing what we call FixFit for a while now because it's in the daily program. Can't escape it. The finishers, the FixFit Jack Challenge, the warm-up. So there's so many PRs across the board. And... they're not on a specific regimen other than showing up for class. So
yeah, just show up.
So what's next in terms of that is like I'm excited for the evolution of the gym's programming. And during the summer we have a lot of fun little like open bar thing on Friday nights where we'll come to lift. Saturdays classes evolved again. We're implementing like that melting pot of weightlifting, powerlifting, strongman, FixFit Jack stuff in one little class. So on that front, I'm excited to see even more PRs from just going to a CrossFit Sun class,
Yeah.
Because before, to get these PRs where I'm watching everyone PR, trying to take my mind off things and yelling and cheering for their success too, and I'm just like, dude, they're just going to class, right? And for me, I'm like...
What about Leslie too, coach? One of your coaches, I think she PR'd like 3 lifts.
There's a lot of people that, again, PRing one lift is a good day.
Back squat, bench, and dead. And her too, for her to go like, I'm coaching this shit all the time.
Yeah.
I'm preaching it. I'm practicing what I'm preached. Does it work? Boom, deadlift. Boom, bench press. Like, that's freaking awesome.
Which is crazy because, again, they're not doing the other side of the prep, which is they're not doing the recovery piece and they're not doing the nutrition piece, like in the sense of training for this event, right? They're not tapering. They're not ramping up calories. They're just living a daily life.
Hopefully she wasn't having, lack of sleep about it the night before. She's like, I'm just going to go lift with my friends. And then all of a sudden she's like, holy shit, everything I'm showing is paying off for me too.
That's why it's like a double. It's like I want to see this become more efficient. This is the more efficient way to train, in my opinion. And now we're seeing it across the board in a general, just a CrossFit class versus like how extreme do you want to take it, like what I did,
Just I don't hear anybody anymore go, besides lower back stiffness, but it's like you went for all out dead, that's okay, but no one's hip from back squatting, no one's trap from pressing, like, I haven't heard any of that.
No one blew up, right? That's why I was talking to DJ right after the event. We closed up, everyone left, and we're just like, running a CrossFit gym for 10 years. There'd be a workout where it's like deadlifts and
it could be a workout.
Like a Diane 225 deadlift. And there's times where like the severity again, it's like people can hurt their back and they're like on the ground.
Yeah.
And like, they're like fearful. We have no, like, for everyone to go heavy like that and not have that, Not one. I mean, there's got to be tight backs today.
Oh, yeah.
There's got to be tight shoulders. There's got to be tight whatever.
So tight right now.
And the hip flexors are tight, but that's different from being like, you're risking a little bit of that because you're lifting heavy versus like you threw it back out because
I went to the...
We didn't have any of that.
I went to the fair thinking like, oh, yeah, stretching out my legs will help. It was like 2 hours in. I was like, I just want to lay down so bad. My feet are killing me. And then we had to walk so far because there was like the Uber line was like out of control, so we walked somewhere really far and it was like 4 times the amount for an Uber. So we were just standing around waiting and I was like, I'm getting more tired.
Yeah.
My feet are killing me now. And I was like, I am dying. I'm so dying. But I was like, oh yeah, I didn't do anything this morning at all. Just kind of.
The funny thing is, like, okay, I felt perfectly fine right after the lifts, and then as the day went on, my lower back got really tight. And it's different because I even asked, where do you feel tightness? Like, talk to DJ and everyone. It's like my whole lower back area, and I even asked you right before this podcast, it's like there's the erectors are just never felt that much strain or tension, but everything in my whole back was just starting to seize up throughout the day.
They had to work.
And the funny thing is, I was sat on like a little back massager. I had Andrea step on my legs because she does that. Sat in jacuzzi, drank some bourbon or whatever, and it wasn't getting better.
Bourbon didn't fix it?
No.
Weird.
Andrea stepped on my hamstring, my glute, and she's like, I don't feel any knots or tension.
Yeah.
Because usually when there's back pain or hip pain on the side or something, you step on the trigger point and it goes away. And then, like, I'm so dumb because I talk about this all the time, and then I was after the shower and it's just like super tight. I'm like waddling, right? And then so I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Can you imagine feeling like that all the time? Because that's what I always say. Like when I was all sore for like 2 days after getting treated, I was like, imagine if this was my life all the time.
Yeah, you're just that.
I'm just constantly seeking for this help, and I'm just constantly sore after. And I'm just like, what did these practitioners do to me?
Yeah.
Everyone just made me more sore. But it's like, have you stopped and did some oblique openers? Have you rolled out?
Hinge.
Have you done some hinges?
That was exactly it. So it took me a whole half of the day, probably because my brain is not working.
Yeah.
But then after that, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Trying to sit on a massager, getting like rolling out. Just everything I was proving against. So then I was on the couch and then I pushed my fingers into my obliques. I did some hinges and squats. That felt perfectly fine.
Yep.
And then I did some oblique openers. I did some glute bridge, hip ups and stuff.
And you're able to work out this morning.
And then it loosened. I'm like, but I'm such an idiot. I'm like, I was doing all because I finally felt that much stress or pain in a sense, like discomfort, that I went to the regular remedies, right? I started rolling out again, like I brought out the roller on my IT band and my glute and stuff. And temporarily it gave me a little relief, but I'm like, what the fuck? So so anywho, it was a cool experiment because doing the hinges, doing the movement stuff, again, I had all the excuses, but I went into the gym and worked out today. And it was a pretty hard workout because it's with DJ, So.
I think that's what we kind of wrap this up with, is that what did we reflect on? It's like all the training helped, but like if we had to fine-tune things, which we're never going to be satisfied, right?
Yeah.
With what we did. Like there's something like you would have been like, I remember the couple weeks up before you were like, oh crap, I'm doing vacation. Like I got the thing coming up. And I did something remember you're like, I haven't trained like 5 days in a row. What the hell am I doing? I haven't trained correctly.
Birthday parties and drinking, it just affects everything. You think you lose it all.
Wedding, this, and you're like, shit, maybe that's gonna screw me up. But it's like, of course it's never gonna go perfect. We're always gonna want to fine tune it. But just going back to the roots of like, okay, we know that the strength was helped from the FixFit. We know that we didn't get injured because of the FixFit. But like, where do we go from here in terms of like keeping that mentality going.
Yeah.
And not, saying like, we found the formula.
Well, for me, because, my heart is CrossFit and that's the goal. And even with this deadlift thing, I'm not a power lifter at all. So I do want to go learn how to perfect the formula. We don't have one specifically. Test and evolve it. Because I'm going back and talked to Brett and DJ today. I was like, I want to do well in CrossFit again because I want to be able to run and do gymnastic stuff and have an engine and lift heavy.
Yeah.
So for me is how do we balance training like a CrossFitter and staying healthy?
Right.
We were doing that in the last 3 years, I guess, but as an injury prevention protocol.
Yep.
And a maintenance thing. But now, like this powerlifting thing, it's like, where does the FixFit principles apply when it talks about CrossFit and performance?
Yeah.
I haven't tapped into that yet, so.
That's your side of it as the CrossFit gym owner, and I think my side of it was more like, because I think it was about a couple weeks ago that I laid on the ground and mashed my glutes, and that's actually what sparked me to go get treatment. I laid on the ground, I was like, my low back's tight, but we just did a bunch of deadlifts, and my glutes are sore, and blah, blah, blah. So I lay on the ground, I mash with the lacrosse ball, I do some RDLs, and I'm like, damn, my left side of my low back's still tight, but it feels better. I'm like, of course it fucking feels better. Like, I tell people to do this all the time, and I don't even do it, right? So I was like, I want to take better care of myself with the recovery side of it, because that's what I preach. But talk more about, like, yeah, use your tools for recovery, but working more on stability again. Because I really think that, we're talking a lot of muscles, but these muscles connect to joints. And if those joints aren't stable, then we're not going to get anywhere.
And that's the thing is you have to figure out exactly the blueprint of movement, the muscle function and action and all that stuff. So pretty much, long story short, it's like stability is important. And people say that, but then again, it ends there because they don't dissect in terms of a strict press.
Right.
What is stabilizing and for that movement pattern, and not those general drills with bands and shit, And
what's interesting is it's you and I are the ones, and we're supposed to talk to DJs and Leslies and other coaches of other sports and tell them how to get stable shoulders, stable hips. You're supposed to tell them how to get stronger in their sport safely, right? Mm-hmm. But what we are coming up with experimenting on ourselves is how to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like I took my own journey to learn, like, damn, like if you, like, I didn't even follow a structured protocol, but I still got, like, a really tight lower back. Luckily no shoulder issues, no headaches, no nothing like that, but just, why did that happen? Like, I have to backtrack and go, like, well, it's because you didn't mobilize this, you didn't work on your hip stability, you're not back squatting because your hips are tight. It's like, I want to improve on those things while still, without having to set, like, I got to squat 400 pounds in the background of my head or something,
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough. I think that's how the gym evolves. It's nice working out at your gym that's constantly evolving, because my brain's constantly moving like that too. It's like, how do I turn the page and go to the next step to work on the squat now and lifting on Friday nights and stuff like that? Like, what am I gonna do? I need intention to go on Friday night. I can't just go hang out with buddies, because then something stupid could happen.
That's the whole FixFit. Because even like whatever sport you do, or if you're listening, however you want this to help your performance, that's the whole FixFit idea is like, what's the problem? The core root of the issue.
Right.
For me, it was like, the 500-pound deadlift was the question, right? And then it's like, well, I've seen what I could lift at X body weight, so I needed to get heavier.
Right.
Well, how do I do that? And it's like, how do I do it without breaking? Are my lats on? Just like, got to keep asking that. And that's where it came up to the take-home message, like in terms of overall fitness, or, like a well-rounded program. That's where I figured out it's like, you do need to train that CNS to lift heavy.
Right.
To some degree, you're not talking about hitting maxes or say 500 pounds, but you need to lift something to spark that system.
Yeah.
The bodybuilding is where it came in, where it's like, cool, no CrossFitters have lats. you up teres or whatever, and no one has upper pec. It's real, like you have to ask those questions, because then you figure it out. Like, okay, if you don't have any pecs, it's going to affect you, and you're going to have more injuries. So then you kind of keep creating or evolving your program. Same with the golfers we work with. You have no obliques, you're training with your lower back, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the body building, like what muscles aren't working type of thing. And then the last one is, whether or not you need conditioning. There's other safer ways to do it. CrossFitters are doing thrusters and handstand walks and this and that. You can get a lot of that conditioning done just pushing and pulling a sled, because there's not a lot of bend and load, not a lot of bend on the joints, not a lot of load on the spine, So,
yeah.
So it's kind of like those are the...
So our off season now will be
ideally
how to get those areas stronger without loading the spine.
And now that you mention it, like moving forward, I think you just have those as like those. Let's talk about those three things, and you just kind of turn the dial up.
Yep.
So I'm gonna turn up the FixFit bodybuilding dial up.
Yep.
The weights I don't have to lift that heavy that often. Kind of let my CNS rest. And the conditioning too. I'm going back to doing fun wads and things like that, because that dial's been way down. So I'm just slowly adding to that.
I think it's a good formula, and I think that through talking on this podcast too, we'll bring up topics, and we'll bring on more coaches that will help us identify what our target audience is going to be for applying it, right?
Yeah.
You talk to Leslie about teenagers. You talk to, we need a low back pregnancy episode. Like all those other things we can tie this into, but we're just constantly experimenting on ourselves.
That's why I want to, if you are into powerlifting, or you are a powerlifting coach or a CrossFit coach that helps people with powerlifting.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to chat with them about what we just went through. Yeah. What we saw in our gym on just a daily workout regimen. Or like you and Bob, who do a lot of the FixFit stuff. But then there's also that third tier where it's like, I'm training for this, like, make it or break it. This is my whole world, like 500-pound deadlift,
Yeah.
So it's important, because I feel like having the FixFit principles sprinkled into whatever you're already doing can get your athletes, your clients there faster and keep them safer. So then if they get hurt, then they're pretty much done training with you. So it's like...
Yeah. This is good. Going back to the drawing board, basically,
What numbers did you hit? I think that's important. We didn't even talk about that. What lifts did you do? What were your previous numbers? And what's your... if you hit a PR, what were they? So, what did you do? You did front squat, you said?
Yeah, I did front squat 275. I don't know what my old numbers were. I thought it was around there. I must have just never logged it. But I was using that for a nice warm up for the deadlift. Mm-hmm. I love front squatting.
Your real goal, to be honest, because we've talked behind the scenes, is you really cared about pressing 185. 185. And there's two reasons for that. One, it's because it's a goal that you wanted to hit. But two, the last time we did the CFT together, the CFT is 1 rep max, back squat, strict press, and a deadlift. Yeah. You actually kind of tweaked your mid back or something. Yeah. So that kind of, it's like the FixFit mentality. You take that and learn from it. You're like, what structurally caused me to not hit 185 and it tweaked your back? Yeah. And it was more of like that day too. Deadlift, I think, is just always fun. Yeah. So that night was like, I'm going to deadlift heavy. Not even 400 pounds. I was like, I'm just going to go heavy. And 175, strict press went up fine. 185, boom, tweaked my left lat. And then 405 deadlift helped unglue my back. So... Yesterday, though, did you... Yesterday, yeah, I hit 185. No back pain. No back pain. I felt a lot of the tightness, waking up at that time, though. Some crunching happening. And I was like, yep, it was more of a fight than I was ready for. I didn't think I'd have to fight, honestly. I thought I was going to get it real easy and have to go for 190 or 195 after. To be honest, I was still shocked that you got it. It's not that shocked that, like, oh my God, you got it, but I wouldn't have been surprised if you didn't get it, because you're still really not training like strict press. Yeah. It's not like you're on some protocol like I am. So like, you're just working out. I was just like, you're still doing I need more left lat, so I'm going to do more left lat exercises and pec firing with it. So again, you're not on any specific program, but you still hit your strict press and without pain. And it wasn't even that long ago. It was like a month ago we did the CFT. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. Just changing the mentality really on that lift. And
we didn't get it on video, so I'm not really sure. I don't think it really happened.
That's true. the press too is the hardest lift, strict press to PR.
I love it. I really love.
So it's an indicator that you're at least your mindset of training the lat or whatever actually work, because everyone will tell you when you do a CFT, like the press is the throwaway.
Yeah.
Like most people at the gym, and I can say that because I know the numbers and even myself. Like I also PR'd in my press. We'll talk about in a second, but it's like I was stuck at that number, and it kept going lower.
Yeah.
For like 6 years, it doesn't get any stronger.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, we don't train just that, and everyone was like, it is kind of a throwaway because most of our sport is gonna be jerk, push press, thruster,
hip generated presses. So a thruster is like you use your hips to launch. Push press.
My thing is I lack pop on a clean with a hip drive, anyway, and I have just a lot of overhead strength for my shoulders, so it's like I want to get those connected. Is my next goal for sure. And then deadlift, same thing. I was like I want to hit 405 again. That was my PR before,
so it's not a fluke.
So I just want to make sure it's not a fluke. You put on the metal plates, and I hit like 365, and I went, maybe 405 was a fluke. I don't know if I'm gonna fucking get that up.
Yeah.
And I
love the negative self-talk. I had so much of that.
I hit it and I went, okay, I think I did that. It is negative self-talk, because I went up to someone after and went, was that good? And they were like, what do you mean? I was like, did I get it up? Because I kind of blacked out at the top, and I was like, was that a rep? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. It looked great. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I did 405, and then 415, and then 425. Which DJ was right. We should have been jumping up in like 20s, not 10s, because we were just frying ourselves over and over. But I think we were not thinking about each other's, because we were worried about where you were at.
Yeah, I completely, I'm super appreciative of everyone at the gym, especially you guys lifting with me and DJ helping me, because, that's how it is. It's like a true training partner cares more about what I'm doing, and that's what happened. It's like... Because
afterwards he was like, we probably should have been like in the 445 range at the rate we were going.
But you guys weren't thinking about you.
We were not.
Which was awesome.
Yeah. We were just like, 10 more? Okay, 10 more. And then he was like, okay, I hit mine. It's got to get Mark's back on. And like, we're just,
I couldn't help it. It's like at that time I wanted to do more. But
I'm not complaining, because I was like, I've never hit 425 before. Yeah. For DJ, he's like, I've hit 455. So.
But DJ was super committed to just helping me and watching some of the videos. He's like... changing the weights, making sure it's all right.
I think that helps too, watching me and DJ and Brett just go up and hit 400, 425, 415, and then you're like, what if me and him are failing, like right in front of you? I felt the pressure with that too. I was like, if I can't get this one up, and I just get it up halfway and go, oh, my grip, and then I look at you like, go get him, dude.
I actually
you're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Now that you talk about it, it probably
puts more pressure.
Would affect me in a sense, but maybe not, because... like, especially the 460 was just like a wake-up call. Like, oh, shit, that felt heavy. It felt like it was already slipping out of my grip. And then so I had to change my mindset for the last 2 lifts.
Yeah.
It's got, like, really into it, like getting amped up or getting really angry was my mindset. I was tunnel vision. I was amped up, pissed off. So I didn't notice anything. So if you guys missed, I probably wouldn't even have saw it.
That's good, because I remember at like 415, I was like, my grip slipped. So at 425, I was like, fucking squeeze harder then. Like, there's nothing left right now besides you just getting that fucking bar up. Like, don't worry about, is my left pec on? Like, all these other... Because instantly my brain was like, oh, is something in this chain not on right now? It's like, no, just fucking squeeze harder. It's just one more rep, and then you're done. And then I was like, it helped. That mentality helped.
I'm happy I stumbled across this video. Eddie Hall talked about his 500 kg deadlift, and he talked in training. He never even got close. His max was 450 kgs.
Wow,
that's a lot. So, but he worked with a lot of like psychotherapists or whatever to work on. He remembers that like he heard a story that the mom lifted the car off a baby. How did she do that? Because you only use whatever X% of your muscles or something. Right?
Yeah.
And then so he worked with people to get into that mindset, like triggers and stuff, that like he's literally, when he was pulling that deadlift, he was imagining lifting his car off his kids. And luckily I got that, because the negative self-talk that was going on all day, all night, the week before, and that first...
what ifs.
The first lift, like, I already went through that the night before and a couple days before. We're going through all the bad scenarios. Like, okay, what if I slip a disc or, whatever, shit myself or tear a bicep, I went through all the, like, fuck it. If it happens, it happens. So I had to, like, accept it. And then on game day, it was like, I just get into that point where I'm going to lift this bar. I'm not letting go. If my thumbs rip off and my shoulder, like, it has to come up.
That's where the competition,
it has to come
athletic side came out. Just for a split second. It's like, that's fun. We chased it. We did it. But it's still like...
Dude, I'm 35 years old. Some people say, yeah, it's not that old, but that's fucking old. Like, for
competition
me...
age?
To be in a training regimen, like, to push that hard at this point.
Yeah, dude.
There's miles on my body.
Once we get into our 30s, dude, it's...
Yeah.
I get you.
I'm in
my 30s too now.
And so I said I did it natural, whatever. I'm not talking about, like... I'm not on, like, juice or anything, or I'm not even taking protein supplements, but it was just proof.
Let's get some HGH.
I wish I could. That shit's expensive. I'm not being tested. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, we don't.
You're going to fund that? No, but
I'll get you a script, bro.
It was a good experience. I'm glad it went well. It could have went terribly wrong, so, bless that.
It was awesome, man. It was fun to be a part of it, but...
I got, just quickly, the most I ever lifted was 365 back squat, and I hit 405.
Nice.
Yes, it went to parallel, but you could go suck a dick. I don't care. And then I strict press. My strict press has been stuck forever at 155. And then I hit 165, which was a nice bonus.
Didn't even know that.
And then deadlift, 455 was my heaviest ever, and then 500 pounds.
Never to be done again.
I talked to you today. I'm never deadlifting again in my life. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you guys.
I don't want to touch a barbell for a long time. I don't want to deadlift for a while.
This isn't my career. I just wanted to do a fun challenge.
And that was fun, dude.
Now, never ever again am I doing a deadlift.
We're setting the bar way too high for next July. I'm going to fucking plan a vacation on 4th of July. Sorry, Mark. I will be in Arizona.
Max bicep curl next July 4th.
It was too much fun. It's going to be hard not to come back.
Can't ban these guns.
It was fun. And then I got to go to the fair and eat real bad after. I'm not going to make that a tradition again.
This is one of those... This is kind of funny because I was, like, joking around. Because I went through so much. Is like, I test a program. Usually I share with people and coach them through it.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to take that journey.
No, I saw that too, and I went...
Who the fuck wants to do this?
I want to get to, like, a 455 dead. I've never wanted to get to 500.
Talking about formula, I have the fucking greatest formula because I tested it, I fine-tuned it with all the training, the eating, and the... Like, I can get you to a big fucking deadlift, I believe, because of all this. But you better be fucking committed and work. But so
see, I'm like,
it's like almost like I tested it, it worked out great, but I can't apply it now.
I don't want to. I'm good.
No one wants to eat like that. No one wants to train.
I don't.
But if you do, hey, if there's one weird person out there that's ready to,
I'll start training 500 pound next July. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna erase that. I'm gonna start. I'm stop recording now. All right, we gotta go, man.
Good times.
Good times. I am almost out of battery.